My oldest son, he was with his dad, and he actually did not want to come home.
Wow.
You know, he's 13 and he was angry.
Yeah.
Mom left, and, you know, at one point while I was on drugs and stuff, you know, he played the parent. He had his siblings, you know. He took on a role that he was never meant to take on, that he should have never had to. I had one job, and that was to protect my kids, and I failed at that.
I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a Tyro.
Welcome to Tyro TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And we are thrilled to have with us today a very special guest, Tyro, Raychell McGill.
Tyro, Raychell McGill, welcome to our little studio here in McClure, Ohio. We are glad you were able to make it. So tell us about yourself.
Well, I am 33 years old. I have 4 beautiful children.
Wonderful.
I've lived a life. I've lived a life.
So let's start with what you're doing now, and then we'll back up to how you got here.
I have so many goals in place right now, and I'm actively making steps to reach them. I used to feel like I would be doing too much, but I'm not. Like, everything has its purpose, and one step will actually help reach 3 different goals. I am striving to get my last child.
Great.
I
Okay.
have 4 beautiful children. I have regained custody of 3 of them, and I actually have court for the 4th one on November
Wow.
4th.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Where I will regain custody of him.
Yes, congratulations.
Absolutely. I have rebuilt my home. I am currently in school to strive to build a better life for not just me, but for my children.
Awesome.
So what are you studying?
It'll be automation maintenance. So I'm taking welding, pipe fitting, a little bit of
Really?
everything.
Oh,
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Wow,
that's wonderful.
that
What
is
a great career
What a
path.
great trade.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I started taking it while I was incarcerated. Tyro actually is the one that opened that door for me.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful.
So tell us a little bit about your story. So this is where you are now. You're focused. You're crushing your dreams, like in a positive way. You're dreaming again. But what happened?
I've never really had dreams. My goal in life was just to survive. Not that I had a terrible life. I mean, at one point I was a correctional officer. Like, I was living a pro-social life.
Yeah.
And then I fell into drugs, and I became incarcerated, and I lost a lot of things. Obviously, my career, my children, my home, my freedom.
Wow.
And when I was incarcerated this last time for 6 months, I was introduced to, the Tyro program. And it was more than just a program to me, because, like I said, my only dream in life was to survive. And I didn't know that there was more to life than that. And now I have all these dreams and these goals and things that I want to do, not just for me in my life, but for my children, because I am who they look up to.
Yeah.
So how I live my life and the goals that I set for myself will also be their goals and the way they want to live their life when they get older.
Being a correction officer and then finding yourself behind bars, that had to have a heck of
An impact.
Yeah.
It really was. It was a huge impact, especially, to the community that I lived in. You know what I mean? Not only was it a bad reputation for me, but it was a bad reputation for, I guess, law enforcement in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Not only that, but I felt like, a failure, like I had just thrown my whole life away.
Yeah. That heaviness of shame and guilt.
Yes, shame and guilt. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, though. At one point, I was on one side of that glass, and then the next minute, I was on the other. And as scary and traumatizing as that was, I believe that there was a purpose in that.
Yeah, but
it was to help build my life again.
Yeah. So what transpired that got you? So you're living a responsible life, a responsible citizen.
Yes.
And as you look back on it, what was the pull? How did you get involved in drugs? What happened?
I had gotten divorced, and I needed more income. So, bartending is it's a very fast income. Not that it's a bad income, but depending on who you choose to socialize with in any setting, not just bartending, just any setting in life, will determine and influence your choices.
Yes.
Ultimately, we make our choices, but who we hang
Our
out with
sphere of
influences.
influence. Yeah,
Correct.
it's a big deal.
And I started hanging out with the wrong people. I started dating a man, and I put my worth was determined by what he thought.
Oh man.
And so when I fell into drugs, that's all it took. And the more my worth was determined by him, the worse it got.
The more it spiraled.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more I broke.
Wow.
That is how that happened.
So how long have you been home now?
I've been home since January 14th.
Woo-hoo.
Wow,
Yeah,
congratulations.
That's awesome.
That is wonderful.
wonderful.
And so it feels good to be out
It does.
and set free from all the addictions and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you've got 3 of your kids back.
Correct.
So how long have you had 3 of your kids back, and what was that like? How was that process? When you came out, were you like,
Each kid varied. My oldest son, he was with his dad, and he actually did not want to come home.
wow.
He's 13, and he was angry. Mom left, and at one point while I was on drugs and stuff, he played the parent. He had his siblings. He took on a role that he was never meant to take on, that he should have never had to. I had one job, and that was to protect my kids, and I failed at that. So, but he finally came home towards the end of the school year last year. So I want to say, I think it was actually May, like the very, very beginning of May.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter, she actually didn't come home till July
Yeah.
full time. She was actually with my cousin. And we did like some overnights.
Mm-hmm.
And oddly, it wasn't because of anything bad. I knew that I wanted to be in the right place for her to come home full time. You know what I mean? I wanted to make sure that all my ducks were in a row.
Stable.
I had everything correct, stable.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that they came home to that and not back into that chaotic life that they were ripped from, that I had put them in.
Right.
And then my youngest daughter, we actually have shared parenting with her father, and her father actually lives across the street from me. So that is
that's great.
yeah, that is fantastic, honestly, not just for her, but for, us. We're able to co-parent very well.
That's
That's
great.
wonderful.
And then my youngest son, like I said, it's been a battle. He wants to come home. I want him to come home.
Right.
Dad is fighting, and he has every right to be upset and every right to, have doubt.
I have concerns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. But I am making every step. I have strived at each time.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And so how old is your youngest one then?
My youngest one is 9.
Aw. Oh my goodness. 4 between 9 and 13.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for your transparency. Thank you for being honest, because that's a heck of a story, just to get out and be honest and look at yourself and be able to say these type of things about you and own it.
Yeah.
One of the things being a Tyro, we teach, we were once the poison.
Yeah.
Now we're the antidote.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that clearly you're demonstrating that you are now the antidote, bringing safety, bringing trust, bringing healing to the family.
Yes.
Yeah, and establishing this new foundation. I'm so excited for you
Thank you.
as you embark on this new career. I can tell you are very passionate about it and very purposeful.
Yes.
And so I'm excited to see what happens as you go through that.
We all start somewhere, with questions, doubts, and the unknown. But growth begins when you take that first step, when you seek the right guidance. Through insights, self-reflection, and real-world experience, you will build the skills necessary to become someone worth following. It's about overcoming your past and embracing the person you're destined to become. Growth begins with you. Empower your future with Tyro.
So I want to go back to, as you were incarcerated and you said that you started taking the Tyro program, what was kind of the aha moment for you as you were going through Tyro and you were learning about yourself and relationships? What really strikes you as a moment that was, wow, that was really profound in helping you imagine a different life?
Have that turning point in your life.
Just the encouragement that there is more to life. Other people's stories. Ms. Hernandez told me tons of stories. The rawness of it and the fact that we were not forced, because it's all on us. It is what you make of it. But to have to sit back and look at yourself and acknowledge where you went wrong. But then once you do that, you are able to see exactly where you can move forward. And if you don't have dreams, the Tyro program will help you see the dreams that you can have. And they will help give them to you. And that was just amazing for me. Because like I said, I never had that. I never even thought in the world to have anything other than to just survive.
Wow.
And I wanted to strive to be those people, to be that leader, that person that instills hope in other people. that's all I want. I might not be able to change the world,
Right.
Yeah.
but if one thing that I say just sticks with somebody to where they can just pass that saying on, just sayings
good.
have a huge impact.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I want.
Wow.
That's good.
And to
That's
show
great.
people that you can lose everything. You can have it all, lose it all, and then get it all back.
Yes.
You just have to
Yep.
put in the work for it, and you have to want it. And once you want it, though, it's so easy. Like the drive to go get it, it's there.
So
Yeah,
you found
the
your
rebuild.
purpose.
Yes.
So now you know why you're getting up in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Your inspiration to change the world, change your children. I love the fact that you were awake enough to say, you know what, let me make sure that everything is stable and then bring my children into
Yep.
a stable environment instead of being very self-centered and say, you know what, everybody's coming home right now because I want you here, regardless of whether or not it's the best environment
Yeah.
for you.
That was hard.
yeah.
That was honestly really hard for me to take the selfishness out of it, to take me
Yes.
out of the equation.
Oh,
And
I-
that was really, really hard for me. That's still hard for me some days.
Very difficult.
I still do things that aren't just that I don't want to do, but for my children.
Yeah.
I make sacrifices that some days I don't want to make, but I do because the end
Yep.
goal, and it's all worth it. And I know that at the end of the road, nobody gets where they're at without struggle. Nobody gets where they're at without sacrifice.
Right.
We all go through something. And, that's what we look at people and we're like, man, I wish I had what they had.
Yeah.
But they went through some stuff to get it, and you can get it too. You just have to have that want.
I remember hearing Cathy tell a story when you got off of food stamps. So you see somebody with 2 cars. Why can't they give me one of that? They don't need 2 cars. They should just give me that
Yeah.
one.
So I went from a place of total entitlement of I drive by and I would see empty farmhouses, right? And I say, well, they're not using that house. Why don't they just give me that house? And complete entitlement, completely like, I want what you have, but I don't want to work for it. And then as I began that growth mindset and changing from that fixed mindset to realize that hard work equals profit. And you know what? I don't want somebody to give me something. I want to earn it. I want it to be mine. And flipping that switch to say every morning you get up, strap up my bootstraps and recognize today's going to have challenges. It's not going to be the way I'm a very big planner. So I'll write everything down. And then it's like, oh man, it did not go the way I anticipated. But being able to be flexible and pivot and not lose sight of my goal.
Yes.
And then going from the place of saying, hey, I want that just give me that broken down farmhouse. I don't care that it's falling apart. I just give me something. To, I don't want to live there. I want something better than that. And I want to be deserving of it, which means I have to put forth the effort. And that was a switch that as Ron went to prison that I navigated through to say, no, I don't have to wait for somebody to give me something. I can create a better life for myself, my family, my children, one worthy of my children, and then working every day towards that. So when you look at your vision board, your dream board, right?
I still have that. It actually sits in my den. I was telling Miss Hernandez that
wonderful.
sits in my den. My children have looked at it. It's on my shelf.
So what on that have you already accomplished?
School, a savings account again. I don't have a lot in saving. I honestly
Right.
think it's just like 100, but
It
maybe a
doesn't-
little under.
yeah.
But you started.
But I have that.
You started it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
have that. A job. My end goal isn't there yet, but that's still there, and I still talk about it to this day. What my last goal.
Yeah,
It's-
that's
Wow.
great.
That is wonderful. That's wonderful. When I got out of prison, I didn't have a savings account. I'm like, what? I didn't even have one when I went in. Right?
That's right.
And those things that we accomplish, those little milestones, turn into big milestones that we can say, you know what, that's off checklist, check. And what Cathy mentioned, something that you have, that you possess, is called a growth mindset. And maybe no one's ever told you that. In other words, you say, you know what, even though I don't know how to do this today, I'm not going to let my lack of knowledge limit me from acquiring what I have a vision for. I'm going to go figure out how to do it. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be teachable. And that's what, when we look at you, we see somebody who's teachable, who's hungry, who's humble, right? And has the passion to go get it. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, I am so excited to see what's next.
I'm Ron Tijerina,
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
and together we have been working with tens of thousands of couples for the last 2 decades.
And we have been helping couples understand that nobody's right
and nobody's wrong. They're just each seeing it from their own perspective and unable to bridge together.
So when's the last time you were in a discussion with your significant other or your spouse and you had a disagreement over something so small that turned into something so big?
So many of the couples we work with have this experience where they argue about something because they only see it from their own perspective.
So I'm looking at it from my vantage point, and guess what? Frankly, I'm only want to see it my way, because it's my way or the what? The highway.
Over time, what happens is these issues start to pile up and they create more and more distance between couples. And so now we're arguing about every small thing because we have to defend our perspective.
As we began arguing, it really was apparent whose side I was on. I wasn't on her side and she wasn't on my side. In fact, we were on opposite teams.
We became enemies, and what was more important for us was to be right than for us to actually understand each other. When couples do this, they continue to erode their relationship. What you need to do is get the issues out from between you, move them out in front of you, and remember that you're a team able to navigate through anything together by seeing all sides of the issue.
Now remember, there is nothing more important than us.
In this dynamic program that's internationally recognized, you're going to learn how to resolve conflict, how to get on the same page and listen for understanding. Couple communication, which was written by Dr. Sherrod Miller and Dr. Phyllis Miller, will actually help you be on the same team and recognize the power of resolving conflict together.
One of the greatest tools that you're going to embrace is really coming to the understanding that what you've been doing is natural, but this is learned behavior, and we're about ready to take you to a next level on how to enhance your relationship.
Now, if you're sick and tired of having all of these petty issues come between you, if you are exhausted from every time that you have interaction with your spouse, it turns into drama, then this is where you want to be. You want to sign up for couple communication. You want to take this program together, and I guarantee you that you are going to love it.
Stop telling yourself that tomorrow you're going to do better. Stop saying to yourself, tomorrow I'll find that program. Today's your opportunity to do something not only for yourself, but for all those around you.
In couple communication, you're going to learn a brand new process. This process is going to help you avoid ever fighting over petty stuff again. It's going to take you to a new level in your relationship as you learn how to listen for understanding, to clearly articulate and share from your own experience. You're going to get on the mats. You're going to have notepads. You're going to learn skills that you're going to be like, wow, if only I had known this at the beginning.
It's not too late. We are all on this journey. We are all on this continuous improvement plan. But guess what? You have to take the first step and let today be that first step for you and your significant other.
If you're ready to like each other again and be on the same team, this is the program for you. Sign up today. I'm going to go back to Tyro just because I love hearing the stories about, okay, so what workshop impacted you the most? If you look back and you say, wow, you know, this was a big deal, or is there none that really stands out above any other?
The Man in the Mirror.
Okay.
That was a really big one. It was really hard.
Yeah.
It still is. It's something that I don't believe you can just do that workshop one time and but you have to have that self-reflection and that acknowledgement and you have to do it. Like it sounds cliche or whatever, I don't really know, but you have to do it in a mirror. You have to look at yourself. And some days it's hard. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've cried while I was incarcerated, doing it, even just laying in my bed, so without a mirror. And then even now, there are still things that I have to forgive myself, look at myself for, and know that the things that I did in the past, they might have made me who I am, but it doesn't determine who I am, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
I can become whoever I want to be, regardless of the things I did in my past.
Right. Yeah.
And who I choose to become, well, that's all on me.
Yeah.
So your healing process, and everybody's healing process, is a process.
Yes.
Right? And that's why we call it, it's a healing process. It doesn't happen overnight, right? But as long as we're willing to chisel and eat that elephant that's in the room, right? One bite at a time, eventually there'll be no more elephant.
Yes.
And looking at life as a continuous improvement plan. When I look at someone who has stopped dreaming, stopped living, stopped pursuing, then I know that they're not thinking about continuous improvement anymore. They've decided, well, this is good enough, or this is all I can be. This is all I can do. And they move into that set mindset instead of the growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the fact that you keep doing that, because that is exactly what we need to do on our continuous improvement plan. If we want to get better, then we every day have to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, okay, what's great about me? Both sides.
Yes.
What's great about me? What is what are my gifts, my talents? What are my abilities? And how can I really leverage those to make a difference for my family, my community? And what are my struggles? What are the things, where are the places I've let people down? Where are my weaknesses? What are the past mistakes? Oh, ouch. I have to face it to recover from it. Because if I keep stuffing it, it's going to keep dictating how I react in other situations. And so I love hearing that, Raychell, that you didn't just do the workshop and say, okay, I'm done. I told my story. I acknowledge the things I have to overcome and I'm going to move on. It's like, you know what? This is a continuous story. And you're continuing to write it. And as you peel back each one of those layers, you find something else that, wow, I need healing there, or I need work there. But wow, there's also this greatness that maybe I didn't recognize before. So I want to know what was something great that you realized about yourself as you went through this struggle. You went from, being a correction officer to being incarcerated and now coming home. What did you realize about you?
I am strong and I can overcome just about anything. My ability to be flexible, or not even flexible, I want to say it is to adapt. Not only that, but like you said, to keep learning. Like, not only do I acknowledge, like, hey, here's something I still need to learn. Like, obviously, I've just gotten all my children back. I have just enrolled. Yesterday was actually my first class. I have an 8-week parenting class that I asked to be a part of.
Oh, that's
because
wonderful.
I just want to know how I can be better for my children.
That is
so again, it's
awesome.
an ongoing learning thing. And I do that not just for them, but for me. I want to be the best version that I can for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to swallow my pride and do that. But I am a great problem solver, and I'm also very great at seeing the steps that I need to take. Patterns, I guess I would say.
I would say this too about you, that you are courageous.
Yes.
You have a courageous attitude about life now. And you acknowledge, you know what, whatever you thought you had, correction officer and all that, you realize by losing it all, man, the value I see now that you're putting on you is you. And your kids. The value, material things come and go. But your family, that's the number one thing in your life now. You never want to let that go again.
So speaking of family, I have so many questions. So when you began getting your kids back, because there are so many people that we work with that are in that exact same situation. And sometimes they're so overwhelmed or so crushed by guilt and shame that either they, one, don't know where to start, or two, they just feel like they're not worthy of even trying to get their kids back. So can you tell me more about how did you address those two things of how do I start and it's okay, I am worthy of having my kids?
I had to realize that it's not something you can do alone. You have to be able to ask for help. You have to get over that pride and ask for help. There is so many people willing to help. That undeservingness though, it's so huge, and that can be, I believe that is probably one of the biggest debilitating factors for us as parents, that, we did this then, and now we don't deserve that. And I've had to tell myself now that I deserve it, because I know I do.
Yes.
But in the beginning, my way of getting around that was, even if I don't deserve it, my children sure do. My children deserve their mother. My children deserve to have that parent again.
Yeah.
So, and now I do it because I deserve it.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, if you don't think that you deserve it, just remember that your children deserve it.
One of the things that we talk about in our own personal life is how, because of my past behaviors and actions and attitude and all that, how robbing the innocence of our children. And how do you restore that? And I remember when my boys would come to visit, even my little girl, I'm meeting her in the prison visiting room. Here is a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, in their vocabulary, they have they know CO and what it stands for. They know correction officers. They know prison. That's part of their vocabulary now. Vending machine, right? Food, right? And that's robbing them of innocence. But to help restore that is with time and the process of healing and being honest with them. Hey, we're going to talk about this. Encouraging you now. That dream pursuit that you have in your spirit, in your life, sitting with your kids now. Hey, we're going to do a vision board together. Gathering up the magazines, gathering up pictures. Say, let's just dream.
Let's do a family vision
Let's
board.
do a family dream pursuit. And how do we put this together? What does it look like? And then as a mom, as us as parents, how can we help our kids achieve them? Right? We're going to show you a process. It's not going to happen overnight. But if you really want this experience in your life, well, this is what it's going to take to get there. Right? Yeah, that's exciting to see that that's happening with you and your kids.
Yes.
I'm your coach, Tremaine Hall. We're looking forward to getting you to the next level in where you want to be in fitness. Our whole method is to make you mentally tough and also physically strong. We're going to start with dynamic warm-up, lower core, upper body, and also full body blast. Get ready to take your fitness to the next level with Tyro Fit and Stenos.
As you were reestablishing relationship with your kids, what as you look back on just the last few months of reestablishing the mother role in their lives and the trust, and again, having been through it, Ron being gone for 15 years, it's never over, right? For the rest of your life, like we work on relationship and we're establishing trust and being family. But what would you say would be? What are things that you're conscious about making sure that you do in order to help your kids know, hey, I'm back and I'm not leaving again?
Consistency. I am consistent. If I say I'm going to do something, we do it. And then for my children, they're very big on, they have to know the step-by-steps because like this last time I became incarcerated, 1 minute I was there, I went to the store, I was like, I'll be right back. I was arrested on my way home. So I never came
Raychell.
home.
Oh, Raychell.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So your
They
kids,
woke up and I just was
and you
gone.
weren't there.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh my.
So it is a lot of repetitiveness with me. I'm like, hey, this is what we're doing. And they're like, well, are we doing this first, or this first? I'm like, well, we have to get up at 6 o'clock. Well, I'm going to set my alarm. Can you set your alarm?
Yeah.
There's no trust in me even getting them up some days. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So
I have to have that
very
patience
basic things
Yeah.
that you're reestablishing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
I have
ahead.
to give them that patience and that grace because I'm the one that broke that trust. And if that means, hey, you set your alarm too then, bud. By all means, you set your alarm.
Yeah.
But that trust will slowly be built when he realizes, like, hey, it's 6 o'clock. It's time to get up. And he's
Mom's
like,
there.
Yep. And I do that daily.
Mom's there.
Yeah. Over and over and over.
And the role of a mom is so crucial to their upbringing. Yeah. Dad's there. He can, we do our job in fatherhood. I'm a strong believer of fatherhood, the dad in that home and stuff like that. But right now, your role, acquiring your kids back, being present in their lives, being present in their lives, an everyday thing, because the world today with kids is not like it when we were kids.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And
So many polls, so many opportunities for them to get distracted. And when you talk about wanting to be a role model, what do you want for your kids? If you think long-term goal, dream, what do you want to create the foundation for your children?
I want them to know that they're in charge of their own happiness and to not depend on anyone else for that, but that I am here every step of the way. Like they'll be in front of me but I'm right behind them. That way, if they fall, I'm right there to get them back up. And if they quit seeing the steps, like, hey, I'm at this crossroad and I don't know which way to go, I'm there to be like, hey, pick one. And if it's not the right one, well, then it's the other one and we'll just backtrack. You got to come that 3 steps back and go the other way. I want them to know that it's okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them, grow from them. And I want to be there to help push them. I want them to look at me and be proud of me, but also know that they don't want to repeat. They don't want to have to go through what mom went through.
Yeah. That's good. So let me ask this. So how do you surround yourself with people to help hold you accountable? What is your process there?
Oh, I'm out loud. 100% out loud. I don't, it doesn't matter if it's struggling with depression or like I'm in recovery. If I even have the slightest struggle, I am telling anyone and everyone.
Oh,
Like,
that's
It
great.
has to be out loud.
Out
Yeah.
loud.
Nobody can help you if
If you're
they don't
silent.
know. Yep. And not only that, but like even if you aren't needing help, you just making someone else aware of the stress or the problem or that trigger or that whatever, it holds you accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Because hey, 3-4 other people know and they're going to see it if you start to fall back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we need people in our lives, but it is about making sure that we are choosing the right people.
And being able to verbalize, to trust them,
Correct.
to be vulnerable.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
Because
a big deal.
I don't make the best decisions. If I did, I wouldn't be where I wouldn't ever become incarcerated in my eyes.
But you are becoming a better decision maker.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I just know that I need more than just me.
Yeah.
It takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a village to just raise ourselves sometimes, honestly, to live. Like we need that human connection. We need
Yes.
it's,
Those points of connection determine
Yes.
success or failure for all of us.
yes.
Nobody is an island unto themselves.
Well, we do know that you have a point of connection with Miss Hernandez
Yes.
and the Tyro
Yes.
family, right?
Yes.
So you're always welcome at the Tyro world. We want to hear the rest of your journey.
Yep.
A year from now, see where you're at.
Yep.
And 5 years from now, and so forth.
So we're to the place that we have to wrap up the show. But Raychell, what we'd like you to do is to just look in that camera, look right to the viewers. And so this is aired mostly in institutions across the country, also on YouTube. But if you wanted to speak to men and women that are incarcerated, especially those that maybe have lost custody of their kids, what would you share with them? What would be one thing that you would want them to know?
You can have anything back that you've lost and then some. You just have to work for it. You have to want it and to ask for help. Everyone is there for you, even when you feel like they're not.
So there's always hope.
Always.
Always hope.
My favorite saying, and my mother taught it to me, was when life screams give up, hope whispers hold on.
Wow. Oh, that's
And
great.
I live
Say
by
that
that.
again.
Say
Say it
that one
again.
more time.
When life screams give up, hope whispers hold on.
Wow. That's
Wow,
great.
I love that.
Oh, I love it.
that.
That's so profound.
Amen. Amen. All right. So, you know
So
what?
thank you, Raychell.
you.
Thank you so much for making the trip into the studio and spending time
Thank
with
you
us.
for inviting me.
Oh, gosh,
thank
it's
you for
our
coming.
pleasure.
Yes.
It's been our
So-
pleasure.
Thank you for being part of today's show of Tyro TV. Until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.
My name is Raychell McGill, and I am a Tyro.